The zoo's supervisor can't help but notice that something isn't right with the tiger's birth. The cub doesn't look like it's breathing, for one, and if the situation doesn't change quickly, this event is going to turn into tragedy. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Gail Cruz from Wonderbot Animals. And here is keepers worried as this tiger's newborn struggled to breathe. What happened next made everyone gasp. Before we begin, make sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification button for more amazing videos. In 2013, the Australia Zoo in Queensland was treated to an amazing occurrence. One of their animals was having a baby, and although all zoo babies are a precious gift, this one was particularly special. The mother of a Sumatran tiger, a rare species of endangered big cat. In fact, the zoo, which was once owned by the late crocodile hunter Steve Irwin, was all set to receive the first tiger cub in the wildlife park's 43 years of running. And Mother Tiger Caitlin's expert handlers, as well as Giles Clark, the zoo's head supervisor, were all overseeing this historic labor and delivery. The veterinary staff watched over Caitlin as her labor intensified, eager to witness the momentous occasion. Every cub of Sumatran tigers is to be celebrated, as the species is classified as critically endangered by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, Red List. Every new birth, then, brings the species one step further away from extinction. Indeed, Sumatran tigers are the only surviving subspecies of tigers that originated from the Sunda Islands. The rest have become extinct. With only an estimated 400 to 500 of their kind left in the world then, a lot of hope was resting on Caitlin's striped shoulders as her contractions began. As birthing began, meanwhile, all that could be seen of the tiger cub was an amniotic sac. This fluid-filled bag helps the baby develop and keeps it protected in the womb. The sac just burst around it, and now we can see a face, Clark radioed to the expectant staff. And all the tiger's handlers observing the proceedings on the computer monitor were ecstatic. They applauded the birth and broke out in cheers at the amazing sight of the newborn cub. The event was going exactly as hoped, and the staff seemed anxious to see how Caitlin would react to her baby. Thankfully, the new mother accepted her cub, and with Clark verbally willing the tiger to lick the newborn, Caitlin did just that. That said, while the YouTube video's narrator said that the sensation of her licking should trigger the cub's lungs to start working, it looked like something was wrong. Clark was clearly concerned for the newborn and voiced his concerns to the other staff. It's gasped 3 times, but it's not breathing properly yet, he told them. They assured him, however, that Caitlin's licking should get the cub breathing. But even with these words, the anxiety Clark felt was still palpable. In fact, things weren't looking good, as there was still no sign of life in the cub's tiny, helpless form. Clark felt similarly helpless. He could do nothing but watch as Caitlin licked the cub's little body. In between his concern-filled exhaling, then he remarked that he thought they should get in there and give her a hand. The zoo staff still insisted he hold off, though. They knew she had to learn to be a mother on her own. She's licking its face now. It needs to clear whatever liquids are in the mouth. Leave her be for the moment, a handler advised. Time, however, wasn't on their side. 2 minutes later, there had been little sign of life from the baby, except for a few failed attempts at using lungs newly exposed to fresh air. It's gasping, but it's not breathing, a worried Clark told anxious staff. The observers practically held their own breath in the silence that followed. Suddenly, however, the miracle they'd all been waiting for happened. The cub started to breathe by itself, and as Clark watched, counting the breaths the tiny tiger was taking, its breathing patterns became more regular. Mother Caitlin, meanwhile, continued her maternal care. And the relief in both rooms couldn't be greater when suddenly the little cub made a yowl, and the monitor room erupted in cheers. The cub just made its first ever noise, a little squeal out to Mum. Mum looked surprised, if anything, Clark laughed. She had another surprise yet to come, though, for one that everyone present for the birth had hoped for. Contractions began for a second birth. A second round of cheering and applause broke out then as another cub emerged from an amniotic sac and Caitlin gave her newborn a sibling. "This one's coming out kicking and screaming," Clark mused as the second cub emerged. And the baby was indeed stronger than the first one. It was moving and squealing almost instantly after its birth. Caitlin was then now the proud mother of 2 fuzzy, striped bundles of joy, both males. The exhausted mother tiger, moreover, couldn't have looked more proud. She even let her human birthing partner congratulate her with some affection as they both celebrated the magical moment together. It was a big step towards the continuation of Caitlin's species. "We're so proud with how well the birth went. Caitlin is a fantastic first-time mom," Clark said on Australia Zoo's website shortly after the event. "The cubs will spend the next few weeks bonding with Mom. This will also ensure the cubs get colostrum, milk, and a head start while they are so small." At this time, the strong bonds are formed between handlers and cubs to allow us to interact with the tigers for their entire life, Clark continued. They will provide the long-term enrichment of walks and experiences outside of their enclosures. Not only will these cubs ensure the survival of the species in captivity, but they will also provide genetic diversity among captive tiger populations, he added. The cubs' wild bloodline is an important factor. These cubs are possibly the most significant births for the program in recent history.